When we think of power, we usually think of noise, the loudest person in the room, the one with the biggest platform. But what if there's another kind of power? One that works in the quiet, in the pauses between words, and in the choice to just stay unseen. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of silent power.
Seriously, think about that for a second. It kind of flips everything we think we know about power on its head, right? We're going to unpack the psychology behind this, and we'll see how silence can be used as both a weapon to influence others and a shield to protect yourself. All right, so that takes us right into our first big idea, the unseen game of power. This is where we learn that real influence, well, it's not about brute force, it's a subtle art. It's played beneath the surface, in that world of perception and emotion, a world where restraint and quiet observation are the ultimate tools.
Exactly. It's about shaping how people see things, often without speaking at all. And we're going to look at two really fascinating sides of this. First, how silent power can be used as a tool to guide other people. And second, the incredible internal power that comes from choosing silence yourself, kind of like a quiet rebellion against a world that's always demanding you to perform. So, let's dive into this first type of person, the architect of influence. This is someone who understands subtle psychology. For them, silent power is a tool. They don't give commands. Instead, they carefully manipulate choices and emotions.
See, the whole trick here is the illusion of control. You're not telling someone what to do. Nope. You're just designing the choices they have so that no matter which path they pick, it leads to the outcome you wanted all along. And the best part? Their ego is safe because they honestly believe they made the choice.
And this is just a perfect everyday example of that. The question isn't, hey, want to get food, or are you hungry? The real decision, that you're going out for pizza, is already made. The only thing left to decide is a minor detail. It feels like you have a choice, but it's a carefully controlled one.
Now this next one, the emotional hijack. Man, this taps into a fundamental truth about all of us. We are emotional creatures. When our emotions are running high, whether it's fear or guilt or even pride, our logical brain just kind of takes a back seat. And any decision we make in that state, it's going to be impulsive, based on how we feel, not what we think.
And this really gets to the heart of the emotional hijack. A skilled influencer knows that feelings are just so much more powerful than facts. If you can make someone feel a sense of pride or maybe a little bit of guilt, that's way more effective than a long list of logical reasons. The feeling, that's what sticks with them.
So you can see there's this whole toolkit here, from triggering someone's ego with a classic, "Oh, you probably can't do this," to making them feel guilty for not helping out. All these techniques skip the direct argument and go straight from manipulating the other person's internal state.
Okay, so we've seen one side of the coin. Now let's flip it completely over and look at a totally different kind of silent power. This section is the guardian of the self. Here, we're shifting from influencing others to mastering ourselves. This isn't about using silence as a weapon, it's about finding independence and authenticity in it.
This is such a powerful way to reframe things, right? We usually just assume that people who are quiet online are maybe shy or introverted. But what if it's a conscious choice? The psychology here suggests that it's often a way of taking control of your own story, of rejecting that constant pressure to perform for likes and comments.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have identity crafting, where every single post is like an audition, asking, "This is who I am. Do you approve? Do you like it?" Then on the other side, you have authentic experience, where you just stop living for the camera and you simply live the moment for yourself. And this is a really fascinating concept, psychological ownership. See, when an experience is yours and yours alone, it's private, it's untouchable. But the moment you post it, it becomes shared property. It's now open for judgment, for likes, for comments, for being misunderstood. And for some people, protecting that psychological ownership is how they protect the real meaning of their lives. And look at the benefits of this. These are like psychological superpowers. A strong internal locus of control means your sense of self-worth comes from inside you, not from how many people liked your photo. It's the discipline to resist that cheap dopamine hit of a notification. And it's the freedom that comes from not constantly comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel.
Okay, so we've got these two people, right? The influencer and the internal guardian. They seem like complete opposites, but there's one thing that connects them. The common currency they both use is silence itself. It's this simple, powerful idea. Silence is real power. This is the one thesis that connects both of the worlds we've been exploring. Whether you're using it to make other people uncomfortable or you're using it to find your own inner peace,
The deliberate act of not making noise is an incredible source of strength.
And this right here shows you just how versatile silence can be. As a weapon, it creates an empty space, a vacuum, that the other person feels they have to fill. And in doing so, they often reveal their own worries and secrets. But as a shield, it's a barrier that protects you from all the noise of the world, letting you actually hear yourself think.
This anecdote is just wow. It's such a perfect example of silence as a weapon. Think about it. When someone shouts, you know exactly what they're feeling. But when they're silent, your own mind starts racing, filling that quiet with your own fears, your own guilt. Your brain starts imagining 1,000 different things, and that is terrifying. That is control. So all of this, it brings us to a final, really important idea about what authentic power actually is. It's not about what you show to the world, but about what you build inside yourself. Just let that one sink in for a minute. In a world that tells us that being visible is the same as being valuable, this is a really radical idea. It suggests that real significance isn't measured by the size of your audience, but by the depth of your character, which is something that's almost always built away from the spotlight. And this is really the core message of this whole explainer. True identity is something that is formed, not performed. The stage, social media, the public eye, that's for performance. But your true self, your core identity, that's forged in the quiet, unposted moments, in your private thoughts, your unshared struggles, and your silent victories. And so that's the question I want to leave you with. Both paths use the same currency, silence. One person uses it to control the pieces on the board around them. The other uses it to control the only piece they truly can, themselves. The choice of which power you want to build, well, that's up to you.